I made this Frisbee Toss Carnival game for a school carnival. Stick around and I'll show you how to make your own. Hi, I'm AJ and you're watching Woodified. I make DIY and woodworking videos. If you'd like to learn how to do stuff yourself, please subscribe and click the bell notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. I started with a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood and measured out a 2-foot wide strip by 5 feet long. I placed some boards under the sheet of plywood so my circular saw wouldn't cut into my workbench. To build this workbench, check out a link in the description below. To get a fairly straight cut, I used a straight edge clamped to the plywood. The straight edge needs to be set back from the cut line the same distance from the edge of my circular saw to the inside of the blade. Make sure you get the support boards under the plywood on either side of the cut to support the sheet of plywood. My first cut is a cross cut at 5 feet long. I then made a 24-inch rip cut on my table saw. You could also use your circular saw to make this cut. However, I got this nice new table saw and I'm taking advantage. With the game board cut to size, I measured my frisbees and I laid out the slots on the game board. I made 5 slots, 3 different sizes. To lay out the slots, I first marked the center of the game board. The top and bottom slots are 8 inches in height and 18 inches wide. The next slots in from the top and bottom are 6 inches in height and 15 inches wide. And the center slot is 4 inches in height and 12 inches wide. I left 4 inches between each slot and 6 inches at the top and bottom of the game board. With the slots laid out, I made plunge cuts with my circular saw to cut all the horizontal lines. I then drilled holes in the corner big enough to insert my jigsaw blade. I used my jigsaw to finish cutting out the slots. Instead of using plunge cuts with your circular saw, you could use a jigsaw to cut out all the lines in the slots. I make 1 or 2 carnival games every year for my kids' school fair. If you're interested in seeing the other carnival games that I've made, check out the playlist in the description below. With all the slots cut out, I sanded the game board on both sides. I then started making the base to hold the game board. I started by ripping a 2x4 stud in half to make the legs of the stand. Would you call them legs if they're lying flat? Anyway, I cut the air quote legs to 3 feet in length. I then cut some 2x4 pieces a little longer than the width of the game board. I then cut 2 1/2-inch plywood pieces to act as end caps to hold the 2x4s on their edge with a little space between big enough to fit the game board. I used a scrap piece of plywood after I screwed the end caps on too tight the first time. You want the game board to be easily inserted and removed, but not too loose that it can rock back and forth. This part is really a trial and error to get the right fit. I then marked the center of the legs and screwed them to the base. I couldn't resist, so I test fitted the game board before moving on and making some feet for the legs. Ooh, look at that game board. That's a nice game board. The feet will help keep the game from rocking back and forth on uneven floors or if it's used outside on the ground. To attach the feet, I'm just using a little bit of glue and 1 screw. So once that glue dries, those feet are not going to be able to move at all. I made sure the screws were countersunk in the feet as I don't want the screws scratching up the gym floor. And here's the completed base. I then took it outside, set it up, and tested my game. 1, I missed. 2, same spot. Oh, right in the middle. I missed. Well, that's not bad. I need some more practice. Time to paint this up, add some numbers, and take it to school. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. I make a couple of these carnival games every year. I'm interested to know, what's your favorite carnival game? Leave me a comment down below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.